A team member reports neutralizing the final creature to his leader. The eye patch-wearing leader, Li Kui, coldly orders the 7 bodies to be incinerated. Elsewhere, a purple-haired man rushes his companion into a truck, annoyed by the sudden rain. This crimson downpour triggers an unsettling memory of a similar rain from 12 years ago. A flashback reveals the world's end began with a massive industrial disaster. The resulting cataclysms violently merged the Earth's continents into one landmass. Then came the year-long red rain, which twisted most of humanity into ravenous predators. This devastating period was forever etched into history as the Red Rain Calamity. However, a small fraction of humanity survived by awakening 5 different types of incredible abilities. These new ability users fought for 10 long years to secure 7 major cities as a shield for what was left of mankind. Beyond the fortified cities lie the wastelands, a treacherous expanse where this crew now operates. They make quick work of the aftermath, incinerating the creature's remains with a powerful ability. A subordinate reports to Li Kui that the latest batch of predators has been successfully purged. Li Kui grows suspicious, troubled by the unusually frequent attacks and the lack of a commanding boss creature. His men grumble about the low-grade targets, which lack the valuable crystal cores that would make the job profitable. The purple-haired man snaps them back to reality, warning that their current goods are for a powerful lord who doesn't tolerate failure. A cocky guard reassures him, promising to personally ensure the precious cargo arrives safely. The cargo is revealed to be 3 captive girls who have apparently fainted from fear of the predators. One of the guards leers at the captives, revealing they were specifically requested by the boss, which is the only thing keeping them safe from him. He's suddenly distracted by a strange substance on his hand, spat at him from within the cage. The guard stares in confusion at the strange, corrosive substance melting on his hand. Suddenly, a monstrous maw erupts from the cage, its gaping mouth poised to swallow him whole. The purple-haired leader instantly recognizes the rank 4 mutant, a foe far beyond their power, and screams for his men to run. He unleashes a C-rank energy blast, knowing it will only momentarily slow the creature down. The attack strikes the mutant's core, but the intelligent beast barely flinches, its regenerative powers already at work. In the chaos, one of the subordinates breaks away, abandoning his team to save himself. The fleeing man, Lao Er, uses his ability to raise an earth wall, trapping his comrades with the monster. He offers a hollow apology, promising to find help as he seals his team leader's furious, betrayed gaze behind the wall. Lao Er sprints away, callously calculating that his teammates will serve as a sufficient distraction for his escape. His escape is cut short as he runs straight into the 3 captives, who reveal their own horrifying, monstrous forms. The monstrous girl looms over the traitor, her blood-stained smile mocking his pathetic greed. He screams in utter confusion as her sisters grab him, his escape plan crumbling into terror. One of the creatures silences his cries, bringing its horrifying, blank-eyed face inches from his own. In a flash of crimson, the traitor's silhouette is consumed by the monstrous trio he failed to recognize. A mysterious observer descends from above, their feet dangling just over the grim scene below. Behind the wall, the purple-haired leader and his last man are ensnared by strange tendrils, begging for their lives. The subordinate breaks completely, laughing hysterically as he's cocooned by the relentless bindings. The true monster reveals itself, a massive maw that savors the delicious taste of betrayal, fear, and despair. Defeated and broken, the purple-haired leader lies on the ground, his spirit crushed by the overwhelming power. A new, enigmatic figure with a glowing eye appears, calmly declaring that the brutal show is finally over. An ability called True Words is activated, bringing a chilling sense of finality to the grim scene. The enigmatic figure steps over the weeping monster girl, mockingly calling the brutal slaughter a marvelous show. He then turns his attention to the eye patch-wearing leader, Li Kui, taunting him about the loss of his entire crew. The purple-haired leader Yehu screams defiantly from the ground, vowing to never betray his lord. The mysterious man looks down, utterly unimpressed by what he considers a very subpar display of loyalty. Deciding he's wasted enough time, he pulls out a sharp tool, intending to extract the information himself. He looms over the terrified Yehu, who can only watch in horror as the man contemplates his next move. The blade hovers menacingly close to the captive's lips, a silent and terrifying threat. The tool then traces a path up towards Yehu's eye, his bloodshot gaze wide with pure terror. With a sinister smile, the interrogator decides on his method, ready to begin his grim work. The interrogator begins his grim procedure with a mocking jest, causing Yehu to realize he's in the hands of a madman. An expression of pure agony twists the captive's face as the procedure intensifies. Ignoring the captive's desperate pleas for death, the interrogator delves deeper, annoyed by the mental clutter he must navigate. The glowing instrument navigates the chaotic web of thoughts, searching for a specific piece of information. His glowing eye scans the mental landscape, relentlessly searching for the target information. A sinister, blood-splattered smile confirms his success. The hidden information is now his. His ability, memory retrieval, forcefully yanks the information from the captive's mind in a flash of light. With the information secured, he identifies the location as a crude oil base in what was once Country R. The location triggers a sense of nostalgia for the interrogator, who looks back with a strange calmness. As the chapter concludes, a title card appears, teasing the arrival of a powerful and mysterious horned woman. The scene shifts to a dilapidated apartment building, silhouetted against the setting sun. Inside, a record player spins, its melancholic tune setting a contemplative mood. A man in an apron lifts a stained axe, his workshop littered with tools and splatters of red. He brings the axe down with brutal force, performing a grim and messy task. His eyes gleam with a chilling intensity, completely absorbed in his work. He continues his methodical chopping, preparing a strange mixture in a bowl. Nearby, a sophisticated-looking injector hums with a strange, vibrant energy. The man, Jiuchuan, calmly prepares to use the peculiar device on himself. His eye glows with a golden light, his expression filled with eager anticipation for the result. He savors the aroma of his creation, a picture of serene satisfaction with his perfect concoction. The final touch to his creation is a perfectly cooked egg, completing his strange culinary masterpiece. Jiuchuan sits down to enjoy what he proudly declares is a perfect meal, basking in the afternoon sun. As he eats, he makes a mental note to preserve the rare ingredients, a practical thought in a desolate world. His gaze turns distant, the simple meal stirring a deep and powerful memory from long ago. He glances at a framed photograph, recalling that the sauce recipe was taught to him by someone from his past. The picture is a souvenir from the Angel Orphanage, capturing a moment of peace before everything changed. But that serene memory is violently overwritten by a grim and bloody event that stained his childhood. A flashback reveals a mysterious figure observing the aftermath, noting that only the most talented child survived the ordeal. A young, blood-splattered Jiuchuan is then approached by this figure, who offers him a new path forward. The boy seeks validation for his violent actions, which the man readily gives, securing the child's unwavering trust. The man promises to transform the boy into his greatest masterpiece. This transformation is revealed to be a torturous experiment, inflicting immense pain on the subject. A scientist clinically monitors the procedure, injecting the subject with a cocktail of unknown drugs. The scientist ruthlessly increases the voltage, pushing the subject's body to its absolute limit. Back in the present, Jiuchuan's simple act of cutting his meal is haunted by these brutal memories. His expression hardens, reflecting on the grim reality that he has become the very thing he once despised. A fragmented memory shows a bloodied hand holding a tool, a symbol of the helplessness he once felt. He recalls watching the orphanage burn, a moment that taught him a harsh lesson about self-reliance. The memory focuses on his younger self, blood-stained and clutching a teddy bear, his power awakening for the first time. The weight of his past becomes too much, causing him to slam his fist down in a burst of raw, golden energy. His violent outburst subsides, replaced by a cold, determined resolve. With a chilling intensity, he vows that their long-awaited reunion is finally at hand. The camera pans over his meticulous research, revealing his obsession with a figure he calls the President. We are then introduced to Yanilan City, a towering metropolis that serves as humanity's last great bastion. Here, amidst the concrete jungle, ordinary people try to rebuild their lives with a fragile sense of normalcy. A young woman approaches a kind-looking man, revealing a different, more gentle side to Jiuchuan. As a token of thanks for antibiotics he provided for her mother, she offers him a simple rice ball. He gently pats her head and tries to refuse, but she is determined to repay the debt for the costly medicine. Moved by her sincerity, he accepts the gift and takes a bite as she watches with anticipation. A rare, genuine smile lights up his face, and he assures the young girl that her gift is delicious. The young girl, Xiaoyuan, cheerfully tells Jiuchuan that she is heading off to work. She waves an enthusiastic goodbye as he watches her leave with a faint, gentle smile. Unbeknownst to him, a team of observers is tracking his every move, reporting that he's heading for the bus stop. As Jiuchuan gets on the bus, several plainclothed agents follow close behind, continuing the surveillance. An agent on the bus confirms their target, number 384, is en route to the Ability Management Center. The agent's confidence shatters as he suddenly realizes his target has vanished from the crowded bus. A woman with a glowing golden eye, the team leader, is informed of their failure and calmly orders her agents to retreat. The story then introduces the Ability Management Center, a massive skyscraper that catalogs data on all ability users. Inside, Jiuchuan effortlessly bypasses security with an authenticated ID card. He greets a colleague who notes his tardiness as he prepares to file new information in the center's archives. He casually apologizes for his tardiness, cryptically blaming the flies he had to shake off on his way in. A coworker questions why he's handling a simple delivery, but he dismisses her concern, claiming it's no trouble. An older colleague expresses her relief, sharing grim news about 5 ability users who recently met a terrible end. He feigns curiosity about a potential high-ranked predator, as his colleague warns him of the dangers lurking even within the city. Their conversation is cut short when a man bursts in, summoning Jiuchuan to the director's office with urgent news. Waving a casual goodbye, Jiuchuan follows the messenger, leaving his concerned colleagues behind. He arrives at the imposing door of the director's office, ready to face his summons. The director welcomes him inside, gesturing towards a guest he wants Jiuchuan to meet. A mysterious and self-assured woman sizes him up, already aware of his flawless mission record. The director reveals this is Miss Lu Yao, his new superior from another city, marking a sudden shift in his command structure. The director calmly gestures for Jiuchuan to take his time, setting the stage for a new assignment. His new superior, Lu Yao, lays out several photos, challenging their outstanding employee to analyze the scene. Jiuchuan meets her gaze with a cool, confident demeanor, unfazed by the sudden test. The photos reveal the grim fate of Yehu and his crew, their lifeless forms captured in stark detail. He expertly deduces the time of death and the brutal, personal nature of the attack, pointing to a crime of passion. Jiuchuan concludes his analysis by recommending they investigate the victims' personal lives to find a vengeful killer. Luya reveals one victim was a notoriously cunning C-rank user, making his gruesome demise all the more suspicious. Playing the part of a dedicated employee, he eagerly volunteers to hunt down the meticulous and dangerous culprit. She questions his courage, pointing out that he's just a records clerk facing a potential B-rank killer. Jiuchuan takes a firm step forward, a silent, powerful answer to her challenge. Jiuchuan passionately declares his willingness to sacrifice his life for the good of the Alliance. Lu Yao coolly dismisses his offer, revealing a specialized team from the higher-ups is already on the case. She acknowledges his rare talent but issues a subtle warning that he is now under her close scrutiny. The director eagerly pushes him forward, insisting he show proper gratitude for his new superior's attention. The scene shifts to the vibrant neon-drenched streets of Rose City, a massive free trade hub where anything can be bought. In a bustling market, a vendor enthusiastically promotes his watermelons to a curious couple. The potential customer, however, looks on with a skeptical and unimpressed expression. He spots a late-night train and questions the risk, but the vendor explains it's a special tourist event. Outraged by the exorbitant ticket price, the man argues it's half a year of a family's living expenses. The vendor justifies the steep price by revealing the train is protected by 12 powerful A-rank ability users. Aboard the exclusive train, Jiuchuan moves through an empty car, the flickering lights adding to the tense atmosphere. He effortlessly bypasses a locked door, using a small tool glowing with a strange red energy. The door slides open to reveal his confident smirk, ready for whatever lies in the next car. A train attendant pushing a cart asks if the meals are prepared, oblivious to the uninvited guest behind her. She stands perfectly still for a moment, an unsettling silence filling the passenger car. Her body suddenly contorts in a grotesque transformation, her human form twisting into something monstrous. With a horrifying grin, the newly formed creature lunges forward, confirming the meal is indeed ready. Jiuchuan neutralizes the threat with a single swift strike, mockingly apologizing for his tardiness. He calmly questions if this is the standard of hospitality aboard the infamous Black Rose train. A system voice confirms the target's identity has been verified from the remains on the floor. A disembodied voice from the defeated creature formally invites him to meet the host. The creature's remains bubble and dissolve, its final words echoing the eerie invitation. A crimson portal materializes from the mess, opening a path to the train's hidden inner sanctum. He steps into the Black Rose Market, a luxurious car filled with silent, motionless patrons. A powerful mental field conceals everyone's identity, but Jiuchuan's glowing eye sees through the illusion. He sits down and calmly accesses the market's information network with a blank card. The system demands a fortune for a simple address search, confirming the market's ruthless reputation. A faceless attendant approaches, offering him a meal as part of the train's unique service. She serves a grotesque platter that would turn any normal person's stomach, but he remains composed. With a steady hand and a glowing eye, he prepares to dine on the horrifying dish, completely unfazed. The information he sought reveals his target's location, the shadowless church in Rose City. He finds the idea of a church being his next destination deeply ironic, a smirk playing on his lips. The next day, the sun rises on the magnificent and imposing structure of the shadowless church. Inside, a congregation of hooded figures performs a solemn ritual, praying for salvation in a broken world. The followers chant with religious fervor, clutching ceremonial bowls in anticipation. A masked leader with manic energy announces the ceremony has begun, his arms thrown open in praise. He then summons his holy children, a procession of women dressed in nuns' habits. The women stand with serene acceptance, ready to dedicate themselves completely to their Lord. The male followers lean forward with unsettling eagerness, awaiting the pure and humble offering. Suddenly, glowing tendrils of energy ensnare the women, revealing the ceremony's true, sinister purpose. The cult leader praises their purity as the women are bound by glowing energy, their smiles unsettlingly serene. With manic devotion, the women embrace their fate, seeing it as a great honor to be chosen. A strange, clear liquid begins to bubble up from the floor, pooling around the congregation's feet. The male followers watch with hungry anticipation as the leader promises their Lord will remember this offering. The liquid rapidly rises, pulling the women under the surface with expressions of twisted ecstasy and fear. The congregation erupts in a frenzy, celebrating what they believe is the manifestation of their God. The leader announces with chilling satisfaction that the women have been sent to a painless afterlife. The women are revealed to be encased in transparent coffins, their silent screams ignored by the ecstatic crowd below. He then points to an image of a serene woman, declaring their devotion has summoned their Lord's presence. As the trapped women begin to weep blood, the leader offers the congregation a chance to drink a blessed substance and become true servants. The male followers, lost in their fervor, eagerly offer up their families and beg for their Lord's blessing. In a mad scramble, the followers celebrate, convinced their Lord has finally acknowledged their devotion. A single drop of the crimson liquid falls into a bowl, signaling the start of a new, personal vision. In the liquid's reflection, Jiuchuan's face appears as a voice notes the endless darkness within his heart. A glowing hand emerges from the void, offering a single, final chance at redemption. A gentle, glowing hand rests on his shoulder, a vision meant to convey the Lord's supposed mercy. He is surrounded by ethereal figures, who promise him an eternal life free from suffering if he drinks from the bowl. His sharp gaze cuts through the illusion, seeing the promise of a new world for the lie that it is. He shatters the bowl and the false promise it represents, deciding it's time to end this beautiful, deadly dream. Unleashing a torrent of golden energy, Jiuchuan stands alone, effortlessly repelling the entire congregation. The cult leader recoils in shock, recognizing the powerful psychic fluctuation. His disbelief turns to rage as he realizes the intruder is someone from his past who should be long gone. Jiuchuan smirks, his glowing eyes mocking the man's surprise after 16 long years. The leader admits with a sinister grin that Jiuchuan was the one child who left the deepest impression. A grim memory flashes back, recalling the boy's demonic intensity during the orphanage incident. Enraged, the leader commands his followers to punish the blasphemer who desecrated their sacred ritual. The charging cultists are effortlessly thrown back by an invisible golden force. Jiuchuan activates his true words ability, ensnaring the entire room in a web of crimson psychic threads. He surveys his handiwork, sarcastically praising the cultists for their spectacular, albeit failed, performance. The leader dismisses his own followers as useless and gathers crackling blue energy, preparing to face Jiuchuan himself. The helpless cultists are ensnared by psychic threads, their faces twisted in agony. Even the leader finds himself caught in the inescapable web, his power useless against the psychic assault. Jiuchuan smirks, his glowing eye analyzing his old mentor's predictable cruelty. The leader grins back, callously dismissing all his followers and past subjects as nothing more than flawed products. He then begins a horrifying transformation, his body twisting into a monstrous form before Jiuchuan's eyes. The grotesque creature reveals its final form, declaring Jiuchuan to be his greatest and most perfect tool. The insult hits its mark, and an enraged Jiuchuan rushes forward, his eye blazing with golden light. He unleashes a powerful strike, slicing at the monster's leg with a flash of crimson energy. But the creature retaliates instantly, leaving a sharp cut across Jiuchuan's cheek. He looks up in alarm as a massive, spiky hand descends, threatening to crush him completely. The psychic threads tighten, effortlessly halting the monster's crushing blow just inches away. The monstrous leader gloats, proudly presenting his grotesque transformation as his latest masterpiece. He grins with absolute certainty, convinced that Jiuchuan's attack has sealed his own doom. Unfazed, Jiuchuan's glowing eye analyzes the new form, finding the turn of events rather amusing. The leader makes a condescending offer, giving his former student one last chance to return to his side. Jiuchuan coolly rejects the proposition, mocking the creature's hideous form and his lack of desire to become one. Enraged by the defiance, the leader's face twists into a mask of pure fury, promising a swift end. The creature roars, deciding that a disobedient tool is a useless one that must be destroyed. With a defiant glare and a fresh cut on his cheek, Jiuchuan issues his own command for the monster to vanish. A powerful vision of the church's serene idol shatters as Jiuchuan's psychic power overwhelms the monster's mind. Jiuchuan unleashes a powerful kick, sending the grotesque creature flying back. His golden eye glows as he calmly dodges a flurry of sharp projectiles. The hooded leader casually deflects the barrage of golden projectiles with one hand. He scoffs, telling his former student that such attacks are utterly meaningless. A confident smirk plays on Jiuchuan's lips as his glowing eye reveals his true plan. He reveals his true target was never the monster, but the serene portrait hanging behind him. His psychic threads pierce the image of the cult's idol, striking at its very core. The portrait shatters under the psychic assault, the crack spreading like a spiderweb across the serene face. The leader screams in fury as he realizes he's been caught in a brilliant, devastating trap. A massive explosion of energy erupts from the shattered portrait, completely engulfing the monstrous leader. The true mastermind's voice echoes, mockingly praising his most outstanding student. As the dust settles, a calm, older man emerges, noting how quickly his true location was discovered. Jiuchuan smirks, unimpressed by his old mentor's preference for hiding like a mouse. The dean of the old orphanage stands calmly amidst the chaos, finally revealed as the true villain. The former cult leader, now revealed as a mere subordinate, furiously commands a creature to attack. The summoned creature materializes, but it turns on its own summoner in confusion. Ignoring the command, the monster seizes its own summoner, who pleads for his life from the dean. The dean watches dispassionately as his follower is eliminated, coldly stating that only the weak plead for mercy. With his underling disposed of, the dean smiles, glad that no one can now interrupt their reunion. The dean turns his full attention to Jiuchuan, ready to see just how powerful his most perfect creation has become. Jiuchuan accepts the challenge, his glowing eye analyzing his old mentor with a sinister calm. He launches himself into the fray, diving towards a new, grotesque puppet summoned by the dean. His attack connects with brutal force, but the monstrous puppet seems designed to absorb the impact. He quickly realizes his psychic abilities have no effect on this specially crafted creature. The dean smugly reveals the puppet was designed specifically to counter his student's greatest strength. Suddenly, glowing threads ensnare Jiuchuan, who sarcastically acknowledges the special attention. As he's pulled towards the monster, he calmly calculates that physical attacks are still a viable option. The dean grows impatient with his former student's unyielding composure, preparing another assault. A powerful burst of energy erupts from the ground, signaling the dean's next move. The puppet is suddenly launched into the air by a powerful blast, revealing it as the dean's own weapon. Jiuchuan raises a golden energy shield, bracing against a powerful barrage of projectiles. The force of the attack sends him skidding backward, his shield cracking under the immense pressure. Coughing up blood, he's reminded that he's taking far more damage than the puppet he's fighting. The dean calmly offers his former student one final chance to return to his side. Jiuchuan smirks through the pain, coldly rejecting the offer by recalling a lesson the dean once taught him. The dean looks on in confusion as golden energy threads begin to crackle through the ground around him. His eyes widen in sudden realization as Jiuchuan reveals this was all part of a carefully laid trap. The golden threads violently constrict around the monstrous puppet, which thrashes in agony. The dean panics, unable to understand why the shared damage isn't affecting Jiuchuan. Jiuchuan mockingly reminds his old mentor that it was the dean himself who cut the strings that once controlled him. The dean realizes with horror that his carelessness allowed Jiuchuan to set this trap long ago. The golden threads tighten, causing the monstrous puppet to writhe in its final moments. The puppet erupts in a violent explosion, the force of the blast rocking the entire chamber. The dean emerges from behind a protective shield, expressing relief that he was prepared for the backlash. However, the shared damage takes its toll, leaving Jiuchuan kneeling and weakened on the floor. The dean smirks, praising his former student's growth into an A-class psychic, his prized masterpiece. Jiuchuan scoffs at the word masterpiece, his expression turning dangerously cold. In a swift, brutal motion, he pins his former mentor to the ground with his boot. Looming over the fallen dean with a blade, he announces it's time to settle the 16-year-old debt for his parents' fate. The dean coughs out a shocking revelation. His parents were eliminated not for his talent, but because they knew too much. His mind races, demanding to know about a mysterious figure named Qian Mian and the secret his parents died for. A sinister smile cracks across the dean's face as he taunts his student's unending thirst for knowledge. He cruelly declares that those are questions Jiuchuan will have to take to his grave. The dean unleashes his final trump card, a forbidden ritual called Hell's Gate that summons demons. From the swirling vortex, the monstrous head of a draconic creature begins to emerge. The terrifying demon fully materializes, its glowing red eyes locking onto its new target. The dean's former subordinate, still clinging to life, furiously commands the demon to attack Jiuchuan. Jiuchuan casually dispatches the underling, sending him tumbling with a flick of his blade. The demon looms over the terrified dean, who now realizes Jiuchuan has seized control of the contract. The dean's final, terrified scream is silenced as the monstrous shadow descends upon him. Jiuchuan walks away, leaving his former mentor to face the same agonizing end he inflicted upon his parents. The dean stares up in disbelief, unable to comprehend how his own summoned demon could be turned against him. Jiuchuan reveals this was all part of his plan, having activated his construction ability the moment they met. The entire battle, including the demon, is revealed to be a psychic illusion crafted by his Dreamweaver ability. He offers his defeated mentor one last chance: reveal the truth about his parents' killer for a swift end. Coughing up blood, the dean admits that Jiuchuan's growth has far surpassed anything he could have imagined. With his last breath, the dean chooses loyalty, vowing that his own mysterious master will avenge him. Before Jiuchuan can react, a mysterious force strikes the dean, ending his life instantly. The psychic illusion shatters as a powerful, unknown energy tears through the chamber, stunning Jiuchuan. His eyes widen in shock as he recognizes the signature of the attack, realizing he's facing another Dreamweaver. A vast, arcane sigil materializes in the sky, heralding the arrival of an even greater power. From the vortex, two monstrous hounds are summoned, their roars echoing with raw, untamed fury. The dean's ghostly visage appears, offering a hand from the void in a final, desperate psychic assault. The true master is revealed, a horned woman who holds the dean in her grasp, his suffering her ultimate prize. Jiuchuan's own survival instincts scream at him, a psychic warning to flee from this new, overwhelming threat. Outside, a news crew reports on the church being sealed off by a corrosive fog, with a special team preparing to investigate. Back in the psychic battlefield, Jiuchuan finds himself hunted by two winged demons, the master's personal guards. He deftly ensnares one of the pursuing beasts with his golden threads, halting its attack mid-air. The captured demon thrashes violently, struggling against the unbreakable psychic restraints. Using the creature as a makeshift weapon, he swings it with immense force, smashing it into the church's architecture. The horned woman Chelsea declares that serving her is an honor and commands him to cease his resistance. Despite a psychic warning about overexerting himself, Jiuchuan remains confident in his plan. He knows his powerful construction ability is on a timer, a weakness that adds pressure to the fight. With his power fading, he faces a new wave of winged demons charging straight for him. A powerful explosion erupts within the psychic space, a testament to the clashing powers. The horned master, Chelsea, watches the chaos unfold with an air of complete indifference. Her glowing eye narrows, scrutinizing her opponent's every move with cold calculation. He calmly turns the tables, ensnaring her demons with his threads and mocking their lack of loyalty. Enraged by his audacity, she furiously demands to know how he seized control of her minions. With a smirk, he reveals he simply hijacked her own psychic control, turning her weapons against her. Jiuchuan mockingly questions if her bossy tone has vanished along with her power. Enraged by the taunt, the horned woman slams her foot down, cracking the very ground beneath her. She looms over the remains of her fallen minions, her fury making the insult unforgivable. He turns her own demons against her, suggesting they keep their former master company. Chelsea scoffs at the idea that her own creations could ever pose a threat to her. With a single contemptuous strike, she effortlessly obliterates the demon, dismissing the attack as ridiculous. A psychic warning urges him to flee, and he immediately begins his strategic retreat. He glances back at a massive explosion, a final destructive parting gift to cover his escape. The Horned Master refuses to let him get away, her eyes glowing with murderous intent. His escape is cut short as a powerful sigil-infused blast strikes him from behind, halting him in his tracks. The powerful strike sends him reeling, but his gaze remains fixed with cold resolve. Outside, a special team witnesses a strange energy beam erupt from the church, mistaking it for a new predator. The psychic backlash hits him hard, forcing him to his knees in excruciating pain. He fights a vicious internal battle, trying to expel the horned woman's lingering influence from his mind. Hearing the approaching soldiers, he gets to his feet and issues a stark warning to his unwelcome mental guest. He threatens to surrender their shared body to the soldiers unless the psychic entity cooperates. The entity scoffs at the threat, dismissing the humans outside as insignificant. A heavily armed team breaches the church doors, preparing for a fight amidst the chaos. The lead soldier stops in his tracks, his eyes wide with disbelief at the scene before him. He stares at the floor, littered with the strange winged creatures, realizing they are not the predators he expected. Jiuchuan watches as a hazmat team is ordered to secure the scene and take any survivors to the research department. The story shifts to the towering skyscrapers of the futuristic Santenberg city. A powerful figure holds an orb containing the trapped and tormented psychic essence of the horned woman Chelsea. He confidently declares that the banished Chelsea is no longer a threat and orders his subordinate to eliminate her. Meanwhile, Jiuchuan sets up a small camp for the night outside a derelict building in the wastelands. Having cleared the area of all nearby predators, he decides it's safe enough to rest. He knows the side effects of his construction ability are about to kick in and proceeds with caution. As night falls, the crescent moon hangs in the sky, signaling a quiet but tense evening. Inside, he endures the painful backlash as strange purple energy writhes around him. A shadowy hand reaches for him as the unwelcome psychic entity inside his mind finally falls dormant. The horned woman's psychic form invades his mind, vowing to enslave him within his own dreams. The story abruptly shifts to a flashback of two luxury cars driving down a peaceful highway. Inside, a woman tries to calm her husband, who is intensely focused on a business call about a new technology. The father apologizes to his son, a young Jiuchuan, promising to make up for it at the amusement park. The boy's face lights up with pure, unadulterated joy at his father's promise. His mother watches him with a gentle smile, though the boy's expression has turned strangely vacant. An ominous flock of crows suddenly darkens the sky, casting a shadow over their family outing. The boy suddenly collapses into his mother's arms, his body overcome by a mysterious ailment. She alerts her husband, who turns from the wheel with a look of sheer panic on his face. Their world shatters as a massive truck slams into their car, ending their journey in a violent crash. The blare of an emergency siren cuts through the chaos of the crash site. First responders pull a young Jiuchuan from the wreckage, the sole survivor of the horrific accident. The boy cries for his lost parents, unaware of the mysterious figure observing him from the shadows. A voice warns him that the dream world is collapsing, but he remains eerily calm, already aware. His mind fractures into memories of a happy childhood, a life cruelly stolen from him. These peaceful moments are violently replaced by the grim realities of the orphanage and the tragedies that followed. A new memory surfaces, showing the day he was given a new identity and a new purpose. With a faint smirk, he accepts the inevitable, acknowledging that this dream, like all others, is over. The horned woman's psychic form looms over him, offering a merciful end within his own mind. But her attack shatters against his power, her confident expression twisting into pure shock. He mockingly reminds the invader that mental warfare is his own specialty, her powers useless against him. The horned woman realizes with dread that her target's mental fortitude is far stronger than she ever imagined. As a reward for the pleasant dream, he offers to give her a quick and merciful end. To his surprise, the psychic tool in his hand suddenly cracks and shatters into pieces. Her demeanor shifts to one of desperation, pleading for him to let her go, claiming she's just a weak demon. He sees through her act, reminding her of her previous boastful claims of being a mighty demon lord. The facade crumbles completely as she glares with pure hatred, promising a brutal revenge once she recovers her power. Unfazed by her threats, he coolly dismisses her performance as utterly unconvincing. With a final, swift motion, he unleashes a crimson strike, deciding her beautiful form is a waste. The attack connects, shattering the glowing runes on her horn and leaving her stunned with rage. The horned woman unleashes a blinding flash of energy, determined to end the fight. The resulting explosion tears through the dreamscape, shattering the ground around them. Forced to his knees, Jiuchuan glares up as she dismisses him as a mere insect. Her rage intensifies, furious that he dared to damage the source of her power. She raises a clawed hand, vowing to make him pay for his insolence with his life. He narrowly dodges a barrage of attacks, realizing he has pushed her over the edge. A memory surfaces, recalling a crucial weakness in his old mentor's psychic defenses. She descends with a final devastating attack, but he remains unnervingly calm. His glowing eye locks onto his target, recognizing the perfect opening to turn the tables. He unleashes his own powerful counter, engulfing the area in a blinding golden explosion. The horned woman grudgingly acknowledges his skill, realizing her own power is fading, and she needs a new plan to survive. Since he refuses to be her slave, she decides to consume his soul for power instead. Unleashing her full power, she lunges forward, intending to devour his exceptionally strong soul. Her eyes glow with predatory intent as she prepares to strike him down. A powerful energy beam suddenly erupts from the sky, striking the ground with devastating force. A mysterious hooded figure appears, mocking her for revealing her true form so recklessly. The newcomer looms over the defeated horned woman, questioning if she intended to make his hunt for her this easy. He launches a swift attack from above, striking the weakened woman before she can recover. The attacker reveals his demonic face, taunting the once powerful Chelsea for her current weakness. He unleashes another powerful blast, dismissing her current state as a truly pathetic sight. The demonic hunter's eyes widen in surprise, a sudden jolt of confusion on his face. He stares into the empty crater, realizing his target has completely vanished from sight. Jiuchuan narrowly evades a whip-like energy tendril that tears through the ground where he stood. The hunter turns in surprise, not expecting his new target to be so agile. Jiuchuan stands calmly amidst the rubble, taunting the hunter for his inability to land a hit. It's revealed that Chelsea has taken refuge in Jiuchuan's body, relieved that her new host is still alive. Now in control, Chelsea unleashes an attack, lamenting that her host's weak body limits her true power. The hunter catches the weapon, his rage growing at the condescending tone of his opponent. His fury explodes, unable to tolerate being looked down upon by the exiled Chelsea. Gathering crackling green energy, the hunter prepares a devastating final blow to end Chelsea for good. Jiuchuan, now possessed by Chelsea, effortlessly blocks the hunter's furious attack with a golden web. The possessed hero easily evades the strike, sending the hunter reeling with a swift counterattack. The strain of the possession suddenly takes its toll, causing Jiuchuan to clutch his head in agony. He furiously fights for control of his own body, while Chelsea's psychic presence scoffs at his resistance. The hunter spots this critical opening in his opponent's defense and lunges forward for a decisive blow. To the hunter's shock, a hand encased in solid ice intercepts his attack, stopping him cold. With a confident smirk, Jiuchuan reveals he was only feigning weakness, mocking the hunter's inability to land a hit. Before the hunter can react, Jiuchuan lands a solid blow to his midsection, taking complete control of the fight. He pulls the stunned hunter close, their faces inches apart in a bizarrely intimate and mocking embrace. Internally, Jiuchuan and Chelsea immediately start blaming each other for hindering the fight and creating the opening. The hunter roars in fury, finding the humiliating turn of events utterly ridiculous. Jiuchuan internally bargains with Chelsea, urging her to let him take control to defeat their common foe. The demonic entity scoffs at his threat, refusing to yield control of the body to a mere human. After a brief internal struggle, they form a temporary, uneasy alliance to deal with the immediate threat. The hunter lunges forward, confused and suspicious of their sudden cooperation. Now wielding their combined power, Jiuchuan prepares to unleash a devastating new attack. He unleashes a volley of purple energy spikes, a brutal demonstration of their fused abilities. The hunter lies defeated in a crater, completely baffled by how a human could wield such power so effortlessly. Desperate and defeated, the hunter pulls out a syringe, preparing to use a forbidden power from his own master. He clutches the vial, ready to inject the mysterious concoction as his last resort. The hunter's eye glows with a terrifying new power as the concoction takes effect. His body contorts as raw, untamed energy surges through him, completing his monstrous transformation. Unfazed, the possessed Jiuchuan summons chain blades, ready to meet this newfound power head-on. The powerful strike misses its mark, shattering the ground as the transformed hunter evades with incredible speed. The monstrous hunter closes the distance in an instant, lunging down with terrifying speed. Jiuchuan's eyes widen, barely able to track the blur of motion from his supercharged opponent. The hunter lands a devastating blow, slamming his target into the ground with overwhelming force. He stands over the crater, gloating that it only took a single strike to fell his powerful foe. Confident in his victory, the hunter prepares to retrieve the body and complete his mission. His victory is cut short as crimson threads of energy slice across his body, revealing the fight is far from over. The hunter stares in disbelief, unable to comprehend how his target survived the devastating blow. From the crater, the possessed Jiuchuan rises, proving the hunter's confidence was misplaced. The hunter realizes the immense strain Chelsea's power is putting on her human host. With a confident smirk, Chelsea asserts her control, mocking Jiuchuan's earlier resistance. She summons a massive spectral serpent, preparing to finish off their weakened opponent. The serpent lunges forward, its jaws wide open to devour the hunter's essence. After consuming the hunter, Chelsea expresses her disgust but acknowledges the much-needed power boost. The surge of power quickly fades, leaving Jiuchuan's body weakened and struggling to cope. Chelsea laments the fragility of her human vessel, frustrated by its physical limitations. Her psychic form manifests, begrudgingly admitting she only saved him out of pure necessity. Her psychic form holds the weakened Jiuchuan, insisting she only intervened out of sheer necessity. She then demands he show gratitude for her so-called act of mercy. He endures the painful process of expelling her influence, a glowing spike piercing a sigil before him. His body gives out and he collapses onto a fiery landscape, coughing up blood. His perspective shifts, and he finds himself looking through Chelsea's eyes, utterly disoriented by the change. The confusion quickly fades, replaced by the grim realization that he is trapped inside one of her memories. The memory plunges him into a scene of betrayal, where a demonic horde screams for her execution. Suddenly, a skeletal figure in the crowd looks up in alarm as a golden beam of light descends from the sky. The golden projectile strikes the ground with immense force, heralding the arrival of an unknown entity. The impact site erupts into a blinding pillar of golden energy, stunning the demonic horde into silence. A grotesque creature celebrates the arrival of the Eye, believing it's a chance to finally escape. A winged demon rushes toward the golden light, fiercely determined to claim the Eye for herself. A mysterious figure prepares to strike with a massive scythe, deciding to take what everyone desires. Her eyes narrow with a cold, possessive light as she prepares to claim the prize for herself. With a powerful swing, she claims the scythe, unleashing a wave of purple energy. Jiuchuan suddenly awakens, his eyes wide with shock as he finds himself in a desolate, unfamiliar landscape. A regal, moth-like woman looks down on him, calmly acknowledging that he has finally regained consciousness. He struggles to his knees and demands to know what she's done, but she dismisses him as ungrateful. Revealing her new form, she claims to have saved his life, just as he realizes he's completely paralyzed. She explains they are now bound by a cosmic rule, a stalemate where neither can harm the other. She reveals they are now bound together, declaring him to be her kin. He smirks, finally accepting that the chaotic memories he witnessed were all real. He taunts her, suggesting she was chased from her world, but she angrily denies being a coward. Her defiant rant is cut short by the undeniable gurgling of her own empty stomach. Jiuchuan finds it amusing that even a mighty demon can be humbled by simple hunger. Now sharing a meal, she begrudgingly admits that having a human companion has its perks. He then notices a strange, glowing purple mark on his chest and demands to know its origin. He abruptly closes the distance between them, startling her with his sudden invasive move. Flustered, she orders him to back away, her powerful demeanor completely broken. He deduces the mark is a ranking number, revealing the existence of a demonic leaderboard and her place on it. She reveals she was betrayed, causing her memories and former rank to be erased. She proposes a contract, believing she can regain her memories by consuming other ranked demons. He connects the dots, realizing the hunter's potion is the same one the dean once gave him. He pulls her close, questioning the benefits of the deal while noting she's also a target for Blaze. She offers her side of the bargain, enhancing his powers and helping him find his parents' killer. In return, he must help her reclaim her spot at the top of the demonic leaderboard. He agrees to the deal but stops her mid-ritual, insisting on adding his own conditions to the contract. His terms are clear: no random orders and absolutely no unwanted possessions. He adds a final rule against coercion, earning a sharp, irritated glare from the demon empress. She erupts in frustration at his long list of demands, but he calmly teases her for being so powerful. With their terms set, a glowing sigil materializes, sealing the pact between man and demon. A massive pillar of purple energy erupts from the ground, marking the contract's official formation. Exhausted from the ordeal, he entrusts the next steps to his new miniature demonic companion. He drifts off to sleep, surprisingly at ease with the strange new power coursing through him. The story shifts back to the city, where a new crisis is brewing within a high-tech skyscraper. Inside a command center, officials watch in alarm as alerts warn of a surge in demonic activity across the city. A shadowy superior gives the order to proceed with the next phase of their mysterious plan. His former superior, Lu Yao, looks on with grim determination, sensing her own time is running out. She confronts Jiuchuan directly, her hand on his chest as she correctly deduces he's made a deal with a demon. While his demonic partner offers to eliminate the threat, he calmly decides to hear the woman out, sensing she has a purpose. He plays dumb, but she cuts straight to the point, mentioning a mysterious organization called Heaven's Wrath. His expression shifts as he recognizes the name, recalling it as an organization of powerful psychics. An image reveals the members of Heaven's Wrath, a global organization formed to eradicate predators after a great calamity. With her identity revealed, she extends a formal invitation for him to join their ranks. He coolly rejects her offer, claiming that despite their admirable goals, he has his own agenda to follow. She advises him not to be so hasty, insisting that joining them is his best possible choice. She sweetens the deal, offering near-unlimited access to the major cities and a way to enhance his and his demon's power. With a smirk, he challenges her, questioning the consequences of his continued refusal. He calls her bluff, asking if she plans to imprison him as glowing blue chains manifest around his feet. As a sigil appears beneath him, she lays down the law. Those with unofficial demon contracts must either join their ranks or be eliminated. A faint smirk plays on his lips as he casually channels his demonic power, unfazed by her threat. He allows the purple energy to surge around him, shattering the chains and sigil with ease. With a calm, knowing look, he agrees to join Heaven's Wrath, but on his own terms. He demands the right to choose his missions and access to all their intel on demons, his power manifesting behind him. Lu Yao feels a sudden chill, realizing the immense predatory power lurking within him. A sinister smile spreads across her face, realizing his immense power is the key to her own secret plan. Now allies, she begins to brief him, explaining that the recent surge in demonic activity is a new phenomenon. She then reveals a critical discovery made by Heaven's Wrath concerning the demon's unique abilities. A holographic display shows that demons possess the power to restrain and control the monstrous predators. He immediately questions her motives, demanding to know why they've hidden this truth from the public. She coolly justifies the deception, claiming that to the public all monsters are the same, and the truth would only bring chaos. He internally scoffs at humanity's tendency to hide things, suspecting Heaven's Wrath holds far more secrets about demons. With a knowing smile, he accepts her sincerity and expresses hope for their future cooperation. She offers a welcoming handshake, but he coolly postpones the formality, keeping her at a distance. He gives her a final, challenging look, warning her not to disappoint him. Lu Yao sets up his first meeting, arranging for him to be taken to headquarters the next morning to meet the team. The scene shifts to a quiet evening in a dense, slightly run-down urban apartment complex. Back in his apartment, he calmly prepares a simple tomato salad for dinner, a moment of peace before the storm. His quiet evening is interrupted by an unexpected guest, whose presence startles him mid-chop. The intruder is revealed to be his demonic partner, who complains from the bathroom about the confusing nature of human conveniences. He peeks into the bathroom, his expression shifting to one of pure shock at the bright chaos within. His demonic partner confronts him with a showerhead, annoyed by his immediate regret for leaving her unsupervised. He stares at the now flooded bathroom, resigning himself to a long night of cleaning up her mess. A far more terrifying thought strikes him, a sudden panic that she might have invaded his kitchen. He bursts out of the bathroom in a panic, desperately trying to stop her from causing more chaos. He finds her holding his empty dinner plate, complimenting his cooking and shamelessly asking for seconds. His eye glows with a dangerous red light, his patience finally snapping at the theft of his meal. His fury manifests as a spectral dragon, while his partner defensively questions his anger over her hunger. From outside the building, her terrified screams echo as she realizes he is the true monster in the apartment. The next morning, a helicopter waits on a sleek, modern helipad, ready to transport him to his first official mission. Lu Yao greets him on the helipad, sarcastically asking if he was too excited to sleep. He gives a tired, veiled response about a pest problem in his kitchen, the previous night's chaos clearly taking its toll. She accepts his excuse with a knowing smirk, ready to move on. Lu Yao announces it's time to go, as the members of Heaven's Wrath are waiting for their new recruit. She leads him towards the base, explaining the strategic importance of their new location in Santenberg City. He questions why the base is outside the city, but she reveals the city's advanced defenses would hinder their operations. She explains that the city's total surveillance system would be a major restriction on their freedom of movement. With a confident smile, she invites him inside, ready to give him the grand tour of their headquarters. He is handed his new ID card, officially marking his entry into the organization. A holographic map appears, revealing the base's 5-floor layout, split between living quarters and core operational centers. Lu Yao leads him down a corridor, announcing their next stop is the testing center. She explains that every new recruit must undergo a full evaluation of their abilities and physical condition. They enter the high-tech facility, where a scientist greets Lu Yao and acknowledges her hard work. Jiuchuan's eyes glow with a faint light, his expression unreadable as he takes in the scene. He calmly asks if he should enter, while Lu Yao suggests his demonic partner can join him if he's nervous. His demonic partner shoots Lu Yao a smug look, internally mocking her for her feigned concern. A transparent, high-tech chamber seals shut, ready to begin the evaluation process. Inside, he stands calmly as a holographic interface scans him, the system beginning its analysis. Suddenly, the system flashes multiple warnings as his eye reveals a complex psychic signature, overwhelming the sensors. A panicked scientist informs a stunned Lu Yao that his psychic index has completely exceeded the equipment's capacity. The testing chamber erupts in a blinding flash of golden energy, overloading the entire system. Lu Yao's eyes gleam with excitement, realizing this immense power is exactly what she's been searching for. He stands unfazed amidst the wreckage, calmly apologizing for breaking their expensive equipment. His test results flash on a nearby screen, revealing his true potential to the stunned onlookers. The data confirms him as an S-level mental psychic, though he seems unimpressed with his B-rank physique. Lu Yao notes his physical strength is unusually high for a mental type, nearly on par with enhancement psychics. Impressed by his S-level power, she decides to skip the remaining tests and fast-track his orientation. She then leads him to a massive containment tube, revealing a monstrous creature submerged in green liquid. With a knowing smirk, he realizes this secret research facility is the true reason for his recruitment. His demonic partner whispers a warning as they observe other demons being studied, questioning their host's true intentions. Lu Yao reveals a shocking truth. Demons have been on Earth for far longer than anyone realized. She then pivots the conversation, asking him about the massive tech tree in the heart of Santenberg City. With a knowing look, she hints that the tree's official purpose is nothing more than a carefully crafted lie. A massive glowing digital tree is revealed, its true secret function about to be exposed. She explains the tree's real purpose is to act as a high-tech prison, sealing away powerful, ranked demons. His demonic partner finally understands the source of the powerful demonic aura it sensed upon arrival. Lu Yao continues, explaining that the demon's energy corrupted the world, giving rise to both predators and psychics. Jiuchuan connects the dots, realizing the shared origin explains why demons can influence the monstrous predators. She reveals their ultimate goal, to use the tech tree's 36 seals to imprison all the demons and end the calamity for good. Lu Yao makes her final plea, stating that only a demon can defeat a demon, and his power is humanity's last hope. He smirks, admitting that humanity's grand destiny holds little interest for him. Instead, he cuts to the chase, questioning if she orchestrated his demonic contract from the start. His sharp gaze locks onto Lu Yao, demanding the truth behind her manipulations. While his demonic partner urges him to eliminate the woman, he calmly tells her to be quiet. He lays out the evidence, realizing she's been pulling the strings and tracking him for some time. His glowing eye reveals her long-term plan, and he mockingly acknowledges her intricate scheming. Lu Yao smirks back, confident that he has walked right into her carefully laid trap. In a flash, he lunges forward, swinging a golden blade at her neck with lethal intent. She narrowly avoids the fatal blow, a fresh cut on her cheek, a stark reminder of his speed. Sensing his power is suppressed, he considers using his partner, who defiantly refuses to be ordered around. His demonic partner is suddenly pulled from his body, her miniature form looking on in shock. Her full form materializes, trapped and struggling against a powerful unknown energy field. Lu Yao watches as Chelsea is sealed within a high-tech pyramid, furiously demanding her release. With a confident smirk, Lu Yao reveals this new containment tech is still in its testing phase. Jiuchuan mockingly praises her research, impressed by the effectiveness of her trap. Suddenly, shadowy spikes erupt from the floor, forcing him to leap back to avoid the surprise attack. His eyes widen in shock as he feels the strange energy trying to ensnare him. The shadowy substance pools at his feet, completely immobilizing him before he can react. Lu Yao congratulates the unseen attacker, revealing another player has just entered the game. A new woman appears, holding a shadowy bow, revealed as the one who successfully neutralized him. Lu Yao introduces her accomplice, Xiana, praising her as an employee with a perfect mission record. She then reveals Xiana's only failure was a trafficking case investigated by a man named Yehu. A memory flashes back, and Jiuchuan realizes with a jolt that she was one of the victims from that very case. He connects the dots, understanding it was her outstanding employee who first revealed his existence to them. Lu Yao explains that Xiana's shadow demon abilities allowed her to feign unconsciousness and spy on him. She admits the footage she provided proved his mental power was the key to their plan of contracting with demons. Jiuchuan smirks, questioning Lu Yao's overconfidence in standing so close to him. Her confidence shatters as golden psychic threads suddenly materialize, wrapping around her body. The threads violently constrict, yanking her off balance as Xiana cries out in alarm. Enraged, Xiana draws her shadowy bow, demanding he release her superior immediately. He turns the tables, threatening Lu Yao's life unless she releases his demonic partner. Ignoring her superior's plea, Xiana's face hardens with defiant rage. She unleashes a barrage of shadowy arrows, choosing to attack rather than negotiate. The attack shatters against his shield, but stray arrows damage the containment unit holding Chelsea. Xiana rushes to her superior's side, her concern overriding her combat focus. A demonic aura surrounds Jiuchuan as he mocks their failed attempt to trick him. Lu Yao offers a weak apology, claiming the situation was merely a test that got out of hand. He accepts her apology with a cold warning, while his partner scoffs at their hypocrisy. Lu Yao finally reveals her true offer, a leadership position on a new team of demon contractors. He smirks dismissively, clearly uninterested in babysitting her other recruits. Lu Yao sweetens the deal, offering free intel and the freedom to hunt any demon he wishes. He internally weighs the offer, seeing it as a way to fulfill his own contract and eventually dispose of his demonic partner. Accepting the terms, he's given his first mission, subdue a powerful demon at the Wailing Tower with Xiana. Lu Yao adds that he'll meet the rest of his new team there, her smile hinting that her plan is perfectly on track. A close-up on his eye reveals his anticipation, as the so-called perfect demon squad is about to assemble. The scene shifts to the bright, bustling Santenberg city square, setting the stage for the new mission. Elsewhere, a man with a ponytail calmly monitors energy fluctuations, declaring everything to be normal. Meanwhile, deep underground, a monstrous figure shatters its crystalline prison, breaking free from its confinement. A sinister boy with pale blue hair emerges from the shadows, a chilling comment on his lips. Under a blood-red sky, a masked delinquent celebrates his latest victory, revealing another chaotic member of the team. The scene shifts to a high-tech building, where another member of the team is introduced. The man with the ponytail relaxes with a glass of wine, lost in thought. His thoughts drift to a screen displaying the terrified face of a test subject after a grueling experiment. In a high-tech lab, scientists prepare for the next phase of their grim research. They observe two identical devices, hinting at a connection between two separate subjects. The man ponders the intricate web of organizations, including a new player called Thousand Faces. His quiet contemplation is suddenly interrupted by an uninvited guest. Chelsea, his demonic partner, casually takes his wine, having followed him into the men's bath. She dismisses his shock, completely unconcerned with human social norms. She leans in closer, her playful taunt leaving him momentarily speechless. She leans in, playfully questioning his private thoughts about her. Her eyes glow with power as she closes the distance, preparing to exert her influence. She unleashes an enchantment, surrounding them both in a swirling vortex of purple energy. She reveals her plan to invade his mind by hijacking his Dreamweaver ability. With a confident smirk, she commands him to submit his body to her will, but a faint, knowing smile plays on his lips as he murmurs a quiet response. Her confidence falters, her glowing eyes widening in surprise at his unexpected words. He easily sees through her facade, his own golden power revealing her transparent schemes. She recoils in shock, unable to comprehend how he resisted her powerful enchantment. With a calm smirk, he reveals he never underestimates an opponent, turning the tables completely. Her fury erupts as she glares at the human who so easily dismantled her plan. He's plunged into her memories, witnessing the moment she was crowned the new Demon King. The vision shifts to her standing on a throne of skulls, a brutal ruler in a dark, demanding realm. Her subjects clamor for a sacrifice, but she furiously rejects their pleas with a show of power. The psychic backlash hits him hard, a painful consequence for peering into her chaotic past. He struggles to process the fragmented, violent memories that now swirl around him. Enraged by the violation, she gathers her power, preparing to punish him for his intrusion. But her attack is abruptly halted, her confident lunge stopped dead in its tracks. He effortlessly catches her wrist, his calm composure a stark contrast to her fading rage. His eyes narrow with a cold, unwavering intensity, completely shutting down her aggression. The echoes of his partner's fury fade as the scene shifts to a quiet night outside a modern home. The next day, they arrive at their destination, the imposing skyscraper known as the Wailing Tower. His demonic partner complains about the travel time, but Jiuchuan questions Lu Yao's motives for not teleporting them. He correctly deduces that Lu Yao's earlier show of power was just a bluff to intimidate them. Their arrival is met with a sudden, aggressive attack from a punk with a massive, fiery weapon. Jiuchuan narrowly dodges the powerful strike, which tears through the pavement with explosive force. He's taken by surprise, realizing this new opponent is incredibly fast and powerful. Xiano rushes in to stop the attacker, revealing he's another member of their new team. The delinquent Seagrism glares with contempt, disgusted by the presence of their new recruit. As Jiuchuan prepares to counter, Seagrism reveals his own demon partner is the source of his hostility. A fourth team member, Guzera, intervenes, manifesting a shield of blue hexagonal energy. The high-tech barrier effortlessly blocks Seagrism's fiery assault, protecting the newcomer. Guzera calmly asks the delinquent to stand down, while Jiuchuan watches the internal squabble unfold. He politely reminds his teammate that such a rude welcome is hardly a gentlemanly way to greet someone. Seagrism glares back with pure contempt, clearly unimpressed by the lecture. Before he can retaliate, a fifth member ensnares him with shadowy green tendrils. The pale-haired boy reminds the hothead that their new recruit is here on Lu Yao's direct orders. Seagrism begrudgingly asks his own demonic weapon, Bella, to tolerate the presence of Jiuchuan's partner. The sentient weapon reluctantly agrees, its crimson energy receding out of loyalty to its master. With the infighting settled, Shana projects a holographic briefing detailing their mission to hunt a ranked demon in the tower. Seagrism storms off with Guzera, annoyed by the mission's rules and eager for a real fight. The polite Ba Yin formally introduces himself to Jiuchuan, offering a welcoming handshake. Jiuchuan returns the introduction, while his partner warns him that Ba Yin's power is a serious threat. Meanwhile, Seagrism's demonic weapon reveals its own sinister desires, eyeing Guzera with predatory interest. The remaining trio finally enters the Wailing Tower, its imposing structure casting a long, ominous shadow. Inside, Seagrism and Guzera navigate a disgusting corridor, its walls dripping with a strange green slime. A monstrous, fish-like creature suddenly erupts from the goo, its red eyes locking onto the two intruders. Guzera seems amused by the demonic fish, which swirls with an unsettling, chaotic energy. Seagrism leaps to defend his companion, his massive blade glowing as he prepares to strike the creature down. He warns Guzera to be careful, realizing they are surrounded by a swarm of these creatures swimming through the slime. Guzera feigns fear, asking Seagrism to protect him like a little brother. Seagrism's blade ignites with fiery energy as he vows to fulfill his protective role. He unleashes a wild, fiery assault, declaring it his duty as the older brother to handle the threat. Guzera calmly watches the chaos, commenting on his partner's predictable recklessness. Unfazed by the battle, he accepts the situation, a mysterious petal-like object appearing before him. He activates his gluttony skill, preparing to consume the swarming demonic fish. Meanwhile, the other trio, Jiuchuan, Bayin, and Xiana, navigate their own slime-covered corridor. Bayin suggests they stick together, but Jiuchuan coolly rejects the offer, preferring to scout alone. Bayin reveals this mission is a high-stakes initiation test designed to gauge the newcomer's true power. Xiana's expression turns serious, refuting the idea that Jiuchuan is just another ally. She internally concludes that the newcomer is not just an ally, but a dangerous variable. Meanwhile, Jiuchuan's partner complains they're walking in circles, questioning his sense of direction. He calmly deduces they're trapped by an illusionary barrier, a ghost wall, as she whines about the slime. Their path is blocked by strange, mermaid-like creatures that emerge from the goo. His demonic partner suddenly senses a greater presence, urging him to be on high alert. The slime on the floor begins to churn as she senses a powerful entity rapidly approaching. He reacts instantly, a golden thread materializing in his hand as he braces for the unseen attack. The corridor falls eerily silent, and he stands ready, finding absolutely nothing there. A sinister shadow with a single glowing red eye materializes directly behind him, catching him off guard. The true enemy appears, the rank 31 mermaid demon, who makes a chilling and bizarre demand. Jiuchuan reacts to the mermaid demon's strange request, his partner perched on his shoulder. His demonic partner urges him to comply, hoping for a swift exit from the slimy situation. He swiftly rejects the demon's proposal, delivering a sharp counterattack. He delivers a cryptic message to the stunned mermaid demon. The mermaid demon reacts with surprise to his unexpected rejection. She misinterprets his rejection, her expression shifting to love-struck excitement. Lost in a fantasy, she envisions a future with him, much to his bewilderment. Her lovesick delusion shatters as his power flares, interrupting her daydream. The mermaid demon's power surges, engulfing her in a swirling, watery energy. Overwhelmed by the power, she collapses, her thoughts fixated on a missed detail. The mermaid demon's power erupts into a massive, swirling vortex of water. Jiuchuan is sent flying, tumbling through a chaotic void of water and shattered illusions. Outside, the rest of the team regroups, with Seagrism and Guzera nursing their injuries. Bayin smugly remarks that Seagrism's injuries are a direct result of his disobedience. Seagrism dismisses the newcomer's fate, assuming Jiuchuan perished in the blast. However, Xiana's tracker reveals a single steady life signal, confirming he is still alive. Intrigued, she decides to wait and see how the lone survivor will handle the situation. Inside, the mermaid demon has trapped Chelsea in a water bubble, jealously guarding her prize. She looms over the unconscious Jiuchuan, lost in a disturbing fantasy about their future together. The demon acknowledges Chelsea's contract, but reveals she has a way to claim him for herself. The mermaid demon cradles his face, believing a new contract will bind them together forever. Her expression twists into a disturbing, possessive grin at the thought of their eternal union. Her fantasy is shattered by an unexpected response, her face frozen in confusion. Jiuchuan's eye opens, calmly rejecting her advance with a dismissive comment about his tastes. She looks down in shock as a hand plunges a sharp object into her chest, breaking the illusion. He watches impassively as she writhes on the ground, seemingly in agony from the attack. The illusion shatters, revealing Chelsea, who smugly asks if her performance was convincing. She stands beside Jiuchuan, mocking the fallen demon for being so easily deceived by their ruse. The mermaid demon cries crystalline tears, questioning why he would betray her like others have in the past. Her form dissolves into the water, leaving behind a single crystal as Jiuchuan lies unconscious nearby. A memory surfaces, showing the mermaid demon finding a wounded man washed ashore on a lonely beach. She nurses him back to health, tenderly bandaging his wounds in a quiet, simple home. Their time together is idyllic, with him painting as she dances joyfully, lost in a moment of peace. But that peaceful memory shatters, revealing a desperate plea for help as a monstrous hand breaks through her reflection. The vision reveals a horrifying betrayal, as the man she saved auctions her off as a rare prize. Her eyes fill with terror as the bids climb higher, her pleas for help lost in the frenzy of the crowd. The man she once loved stands among the bidders, preparing to purchase her with a staggering sum. A cruel smile spreads across his face as he mockingly acknowledges her immense value on the market. The single heartbreaking thought of his betrayal echoes through the darkness of her memory. Her true demonic form grins with a twisted acceptance, forgiving the deception with a chilling promise. Her true monstrous form erupts from the water, a terrifying mass of shadowy tentacles. She offers a twisted proposal, suggesting he can be with her forever once he's no longer living. The transformed demon unleashes a powerful blast of energy, which narrowly misses its mark. Jiuchuan smirks, wielding a massive scythe and relishing the chance for a real fight. Enraged by his defiance, she gathers a sphere of destructive water energy for another attack. He leaps toward her, coolly informing her that her wish for his demise will be difficult to grant. His purple scythe clashes with her watery assault, resulting in a massive explosion of power. The mermaid demon's fury intensifies as she screams, desperate to end him. He counters with a devastating kick, his leg glowing with golden energy as it connects. Landing safely, he acknowledges the immense power of her attack, realizing it could have been fatal. He taunts the demon, questioning if she truly thinks he's afraid. A wild grin spreads across his face, his glowing eye revealing he's not scared but thrilled by the challenge. He unleashes a sweeping attack, sending a web of golden energy threads across the floor. The mermaid demon is caught in the attack's path, her watery form reacting to the incoming energy. She dissolves into the water to evade, the attack splashing harmlessly where she once stood. Reforming beside him, she reveals her ability to travel through water, but he remains unimpressed. He smirks, realizing her ability is a fatal flaw that will deliver her right into his hands. He crushes a sample of the demonic slime, infusing his power with its essence. The enhanced threads shoot out, successfully ensnaring the surprised demon in his trap. Powerless and shocked, the mermaid demon finds herself completely bound by glowing purple chains. The mermaid demon glares with pure rage, her monstrous form completely restrained by his chains. He calmly informs the demon that her water-based abilities are now completely useless against him, but she shatters her bonds with a final, desperate surge of power, unleashing a chaotic vortex. She reveals her true power, an enhancement rule that amplifies her abilities based on her rank. He's caught off guard as she closes the distance instantly, her enhanced speed overwhelming his senses. A devastating blow sends him crashing into the ground, the sheer force of the impact leaving him stunned. Pinned against the wall, he notes her increased speed, a dangerous smirk playing on his lips. Her body begins to dissolve into a liquid state, preparing for another unpredictable attack. She unleashes an illusion technique, her essence spreading across the area like a sea of watching eyes. He grows frustrated, unable to land a hit as she evades his attacks like a slippery eel. He decides that if he can't catch his slippery opponent, he'll just have to make her entire hiding place disappear. A confident smirk reveals he has a vague but certainly destructive plan in mind. He readies his scythe, warning his partner that his solution is going to be incredibly loud. With a powerful swing, he smashes the scythe into the floor, unleashing a destructive shockwave. He then dives through the newly created hole, taking the fight to the next level down. His landing shatters the floor below, the impact echoing through the entire tower. The rest of the team is caught completely off guard as the ceiling violently explodes above them. A gaping hole tears through the ceiling, flooding the area with water and debris from the floor above. Landing amidst the chaos, he unleashes his golden threads, his glowing eye commanding them to ignite. The superheated threads instantly vaporize all the water in the room, leaving the demon with nowhere to hide. The remaining water begins to boil, creating an inescapable scalding trap for the demon. Caught in the superheated threads, the mermaid demon cries out in agony, her body steaming. Seizing the opportunity, Jiuchuan calls on his partner to deliver the final blow. A powerful chained spear pierces the demon's chest, leaving a critical wound. Crystalline tears stream from her eyes as she expresses her overwhelming pain. As she fades, Jiuchuan witnesses her final thoughts, a refusal to accept her tragic end. Her memory flashes back to a happy past, shattered by the monstrous betrayal that followed. The vision reveals her being sold at a grotesque auction, presented as a rare prize. Helpless, she watches the bids climb into the billions, her pleas for help completely ignored. The final cruel twist is revealed as the man she once loved stands ready to purchase her. The memory confirms the man's final cruel words as he prepares to purchase her. The vision shifts to a gentler time, where he claims to understand her even without words. He asks for her affection, his charming smile masking his true intentions. In the memory, she blushes, completely won over by his false kindness. Her hand trembles, hesitant to accept the connection that will lead to her doom. Overcome with emotion, she attempts to confess her feelings for the man who saved her. He coaxes the words from her, his gentle expression a masterclass in deception. The memory concludes with a tender embrace, the peak of her happiness before the fall. But the sweet memory is corrupted by a gnawing, insatiable hunger that echoes in the darkness. The vision ends with her kneeling in despair, her shattered reflection a symbol of her broken heart and twisted fate. The mermaid demon's eyes fill with horror, realizing she's become a monster to the one she cared for. Overwhelmed by her corrupted memories, she lets out a silent, agonizing scream. The crystal in her chest glows, a symbol of her final self-inflicted defeat. Encased in her own crystalline prison, she accepts her fate, believing it's the only escape. Jiuchuan understands her tragic choice, realizing she sealed her memories to escape unbearable pain. Seeing an opportunity, Chelsea's spectral serpent lunges forward to devour the defeated demon's power. But before she can strike, Jiuchuan's golden threads wrap around her, halting her attack. He stands his ground, calmly stopping his partner's predatory advance. He explains their bigger mission, reminding her they need Heaven's Wrath's intel more than this one prize. Conceding his point, the massive serpent form dissipates, retreating for now. Her spectral form questions his authority, but he calmly explains he's thinking of the bigger picture. He internally calculates that while she can't kill him, he's too weak to survive another one of her tantrums. A tendril of her energy touches his face, catching him completely off guard. The demonic serpent seems to sense his sincerity, begrudgingly accepting his explanation. Now back in her miniature form, she warns him not to push his luck as her patience has limits. With the immediate threat neutralized, he looks over the city, believing the ordeal is finally over. The story cuts to another skyscraper engulfed in flames, hinting at a new unfolding crisis. A hooded figure flees the scene below, clutching a mysterious glowing object. His escape is cut short as a monstrous entity with a gaping maw materializes before him. A sudden splash of red across the screen signals the runner's grim and immediate fate. The fallen runner lies on the pavement, a monstrous shadow cast over him as a distress signal beeps from his device. The monster holds a device flashing an urgent warning that Dorne City has fallen and is in desperate need of rescue. The scene cuts back to the Wailing Tower, where the rest of the team has been waiting. Xiana receives the same urgent message, announcing that Lu Yao needs them in Dorne City immediately. Guzera notes their new recruit is missing, while Seagrism scoffs that he's probably already dead. Their conversation is cut short as the top of the tower explodes, sending a massive crystal prison plummeting towards them. The crystal shatters on the street below, forcing the team to brace for the explosive impact. From the settling dust, Jiuchuan emerges, looking down on his stunned teammates. He stands amidst the wreckage, sarcastically questioning if this was the demon they were sent to hunt. Bai Yin notes the intel was wrong about the demon's rank, but Xiana grimly insists their information was correct. A glowing blue cube materializes above an outstretched hand. The cube is encased within a larger crystalline structure. Lu Yao oversees the process, a timestamp confirming the demon's capture. Jiuchuan is formally welcomed to the demon squad. He cuts the pleasantries short, ready to get down to business. Bai Yin, the contract holder for barrier demons, is introduced. Bai Yin expresses surprise that Jiuchuan remembers his name. Lu Yao introduces the remaining team members, Seagrism and Guzera. Seagrism expresses his dislike for strangers using his name. He challenges Jiuchuan to a fight, eager to test his strength. The delinquent's challenge is met with a tense standoff as the rest of the team looks on. Shana steps in, reminding him that their mission to support Dorne City takes priority over personal squabbles. Seagrism scoffs in annoyance but seems to relent for the moment. He agrees to settle the score after the mission, eager to get moving. His demonic partner warns him that the hot-headed delinquent is a formidable foe, but Jiuchuan just smirks. He calmly observes that the truly powerful members of the squad have yet to show their hand. The newly formed team travels in a high-tech armored vehicle, protected by an energy shield. Inside, Xiana confirms their departure with Lu Yao as they head towards the crisis zone. Jiuchuan's partner sizes up Guzera, her predatory instincts finding him intriguing. Guzera calmly explains the strengths and weaknesses of his barrier demon, noting the high mental cost of its abilities. His demonic partner claims only two types of people contract with demons, villains and those with secrets. Guzera listens with a knowing smirk, intrigued by the philosophical debate unfolding beside him. He then challenges them to guess which category they belong to, while Seagrism and his partner are out cold. Jiuchuan turns the question back on his partner, who bluntly calls him a disgusting man full of secrets. His gaze hardens as he focuses on their destination, Dorne City. He recalls that the city is a prison run by a heretical faction, a perfect magnet for demonic activity. The scene reveals Dorne City, a place for criminals, now besieged by a massive, shadowy monster. Arriving on the outskirts, the team finds the city shrouded in a dense fog that their shields can't penetrate. Luyo receives a grim report. 2 teams are lost, and the third signal is fading within the mysterious fog. She orders her subordinate to monitor the last signal and push the lab for answers about the deadly mist. Luyao's subordinate can only wait, pinning all hope on the arrival of the demon squad. The scene cuts to a grim alley in Dorne City, its walls stained with the evidence of a recent massacre. In the shadows, a monstrous creature noisily feasts on the remains of the fallen. The grotesque, stitched-up monster chews its gruesome meal, a twisted mockery of a child's doll. A mysterious figure stands over the feasting creature, mockingly asking if it's enjoying its snacks. The monstrous doll looks up with a disturbing grin, confirming its satisfaction with the carnage. It's interrupted by a shadowy figure who calmly claims to be a mere spectator to the feast. This new entity, a being of shadow with a single glowing eye, notes its minion has been active for 3 days. The shadowy master laments the difficulty of communicating with its simple-minded, ravenous creation. It then reminds the monster of their deal, warning that their true enemy is about to arrive. The shadowy master gives its grotesque minion a final order: wipe out everyone in the city. With its instructions delivered, the master departs, leaving the stitched-up monster to its grim work. The scene cuts to Heaven's Wrath's temporary base, set up just outside the fallen city. Luyo reveals the grim situation. Dorne City has been dark for 3 days, and every team sent in has vanished. While Ba Yin suspects a demonic link to the fog, Seagrism impatiently suggests a full frontal assault. Shana voices her caution, worried they might be walking straight into a well-laid trap. Guzera calmly volunteers himself and Xiana for a reconnaissance mission, offering to scout ahead. Luyao shuts down his suggestion, instead ordering Jiuchuan and Xiana to go in. The new pairing sits in stunned silence, caught off guard by their unexpected mission. Guzera questions the rookie's readiness, but Luyao coolly points out that Guzera's own power is already strained. Luyao dismisses the other two, claiming their brawn isn't suited for a delicate reconnaissance mission. She declares Jiuchuan and Xiana are the perfect pair for the job, aiming to minimize any unnecessary risks. He agrees, but offers to go solo, secretly seeing a chance to investigate a rival organization. Lu Yao overrules him, insisting the experienced Xiana go with him while the others wait for the signal. His partner correctly deduces Lu Yao wants a babysitter, but he's already planning to follow his own agenda. The scene shifts to the grim streets of Dorne City, its buildings marked by the aftermath of a brutal conflict. A glowing blue cube, crackling with dark energy, smashes into an alleyway. The cube shatters, revealing Jiuchuan and Xiana, who have been teleported directly into the danger zone. He realizes Lu Yao has weaponized her abilities, storing them in cubes for her agents to use. Their attention is suddenly drawn to a dark, winged silhouette circling ominously in the sky above. The winged creature drops its grim cargo, delivering a fresh meal for the monsters below. The alley becomes a grotesque feeding ground as more winged beasts drop bodies from the sky. Shana realizes with horror that demons are feeding the predators, while Jiuchuan notes the situation is far more complex than they imagined. A monstrous predator with a gaping maw lunges from the sky, its terrifying gaze fixed on Xiana. Jiuchuan reacts instantly, summoning a golden psychic shield to block the creature's deadly assault. Shana prepares her counterattack, her shadowy bow materializing with a glowing, energized arrow. She takes aim from behind the barrier, coordinating a 2-second window with Jiuchuan for the perfect shot. The shield drops and she unleashes her arrow, which streaks through the air and finds its monstrous target. The powerful shot slams the predator into the pavement, pinning it to the ground with immense force. Shadowy spikes erupt from the impact, and the creature lets out a silent, agonizing scream. The defeated predator dissolves into shadow, leaving them momentarily safe in the desolate alley. Shana's eyes narrow with suspicion, sensing they are no longer alone. She whirls around with her bow drawn, demanding the unseen presence reveal itself. A hooded man with braided hair emerges from the shadows, questioning their special abilities. He confronts the pair while Xiana holds him at arrow point, demanding to know who he is. Jiuchuan recalls Lu Yao's instructions to use the Santenberg Alliance as a cover, surprised to find actual survivors. He smoothly introduces them as members of the Alliance, sent to provide aid to the fallen city. The man's eyes widen with disbelief upon hearing the name of the powerful organization. His suspicion melts into overwhelming relief, grateful that help has finally arrived. He introduces himself as Joris, a locksmith, extending a hand in greeting. The hooded man cuts the conversation short, insisting they follow him to a safer location. He reveals that most of the city's survivors are hiding nearby and urges them to come with him. Jiuchuan smirks at Xiana's hesitation, reminding her their orders are to follow every lead. Their new guide leads them to a manhole, disappearing into the sewers below. A strange, watery energy seems to flow from their guide as he descends into the darkness. He explains that the city's advanced underground drainage system is the key to their survival. Jiuchuan notes his familiarity with the tunnels, and Joris confirms this city is his hometown. Joris stops before a heavy, sealed door, announcing they've reached the hidden shelter. Jiuchuan and Xiana share a look of apprehension, sensing something is not quite right. Their guide assures them the shelter is secure, its location known only to those familiar with the underground. His senses are dulled by a foul stench as he questions their guide's claims of safety. The guide's friendly facade drops, revealing the cold, hard face of a betrayer. Without warning, a volley of projectiles erupts from the darkness, springing the ambush. He instantly summons a golden shield, protecting Xiana from the surprise attack. Their guide reveals their cover, ordering the armed figures to capture the agents from the Santenberg Alliance. Realizing they're surrounded by criminals, he smirks while Xiana cautiously suggests diplomacy. A massive gate slams shut behind them, sealing their escape route and trapping them inside. He identifies a rare source stone designed to seal their powers and effortlessly dissipates its energy. Joris stands with his armed crew, demanding the intruders reveal themselves. A group of weary survivors appears, their desperate questions revealing Joris is their only hope for supplies. The survivors reveal their desperation, explaining they need a specific antidote to survive. Joris smirks at his captives, calling them the perfect bargaining chip to get what his people need. Jiuchuan connects the dots, realizing this underground area is a prison where criminals are controlled by drugs. Their guide reveals this grim place was once their home, a life of endless darkness and struggle. Joris shows the painful effects of a poison coursing through his veins, the source of their desperation. Xiana coldly questions his life choices, earning a furious glare from the cornered man. Jiuchuan calmly exposes their guide's past, noting his hands are those of a master thief. Joris erupts in rage, but his companion intervenes, reminding him they need their captives alive for the trade. A female survivor issues an ultimatum, demanding supplies and medicine in exchange for their lives. Xiana calmly explains their predicament, revealing a signal-blocking fog makes any communication impossible. The female survivor angrily reminds them of their promise, scolding Xiana for her rash actions. Jiuchuan reveals they were just stalling for time, asking Xiana if her power has finally recovered. Joris is frozen in terror, unable to move or speak as he realizes the Source Stone has failed to suppress their abilities. Xiana's shadow tendrils erupt from the floor, instantly neutralizing all the criminals in the room. With a confident smirk, he declares it's time to break out, as his partner mocks the criminals' weak attempt to contain them. He shatters the cage with a single powerful swing, the metal bars exploding outwards from the force. Now free, Xiana's shadow power creeps towards the terrified Joris, ready to ensure his cooperation. A sharp tool is held menacingly close to Joris's eye, a clear threat to extract information. Jiuchuan calmly prepares to get his answers, ready to uncover the secrets of Dorne City. The interrogation triggers a flashback, revealing Joris's past as a miner in the city's underground tunnels. Two brothers work in a mine, and one of them notices there are fewer people around. They discuss why the Exile faction needs the mined stones, but their conversation is interrupted by the guard's shout. The guard, enraged, punishes them by doubling their daily workload. One of the brothers accuses him of personal revenge. In response, the guard kicks one of them hard. He rudely orders the other prisoners to work faster. The guard reminds them that the Exile faction supposedly saved them from death in the wastelands. He contemptuously calls the prisoners ungrateful traitors. His assistant approaches and whispers something in his ear. A sinister smile appears on the guard's face. A cruel-looking man dangles a pair of handcuffs, announcing that the prisoners will be dining with their guests. He places glowing cuffs on the prisoners' wrists, ordering them to behave. The cuffed prisoners are marched single file through a dark, foreboding tunnel. They emerge into the open air of the Dorne City mining facility, surrounded by guards. Jorah shields his eyes, unaccustomed to the bright light after his time in the dark tunnels. The prisoners are lined up in the yard, standing silently before a cold-faced guard. He and another prisoner sense something is wrong, noting the unusual and tense silence. Elsewhere, a shadowy entity whispers to Hobart, the leader of the exile faction, that it's time for the feast to begin. Hobart's eye glows with a sinister red light as he gives the chilling order to begin. The guards suddenly transform into grotesque monsters, their long tongues lashing out as they surround the horrified prisoners. The prisoners cry out in horror as the guards, now transformed into blade-wielding predators, descend upon them. Jorah realizes the entire exile faction has been turned, suspecting they were all part of a horrific experiment. A fellow prisoner pleads with Jorah, the master locksmith, to free the other ability holders from their cuffs. The power-suppressing handcuffs shatter, falling uselessly to the ground. Two of the freed prisoners feel their abilities return, their hands crackling with latent energy. The newly empowered prisoners decide to fight back, joining forces to battle the monstrous guards. As the battle rages, Jorah realizes the cuffs were made of crude stones, the source of their suppressed powers. The shadowy entity observes the chaos, mockingly noting the arrival of uninvited rats at its feast. Its single glowing eye narrows as it focuses on the unexpected turn of events. Annoyed by the interruption, the entity decides to accelerate its plans, summoning massive draconic beasts. The prisoners stare in disbelief as a monstrous draconic beast materializes in the yard. One man freezes in terror as the creature's massive claw descends upon him. The yard erupts into chaos as a swarm of dragons descends, turning the feast into a massacre. Jorah is shoved aside at the last second by a fellow prisoner, narrowly avoiding an attack. His savior, George, is slammed to the ground, taking the full force of the dragon's brutal assault. The creature's sharp talons find their mark, delivering a critical and decisive blow. Jorah watches in horror as his friend is grievously wounded, crying out his name in despair. Despite his injuries, George uses his own body to shield Jorah from the surrounding chaos. With his last breath, he promises they will escape this nightmare and return home together. His final words hang in the air as his body goes limp, his promise left unfulfilled. Jorah cradles his fallen friend, his face a mask of anguish as he pleads for them to return home. With his last breath, George dreams of a simple life, thinking of a favorite childhood treat. Jorah desperately tries to keep his friend conscious, making promises for a future that will never come. He tearfully reminds George of their shared dream of a peaceful life back in their village. Overcome with grief, Jorah whispers a final heartbroken apology to his lost brother-in-arms. George's eyes lock onto his, making a final desperate plea for Jorah to survive at all costs. A single tear marks the end of his life, his final wish hanging heavy in the air. Jorah's grief erupts into a silent scream as the chaos of the battlefield rages around him. His moment of mourning is cut short as a monstrous draconic claw descends from above. The creature's devastating strike slams into the ground, a brutal end to a tragic sacrifice. The flashback ends with a monstrous dragon roaring outside, a terrifying memory seared into Jorah's mind. He clutches his companion, his grief turning into a fierce resolve to expose the city's dark secrets. Back in the present, Jiuchuan confirms his suspicions. Demons and predators are working together, targeting the prisoners. He explains to a concerned Xiana that he's only temporarily sedated their captives. Xiana reveals she's left shadowy guardians to protect the unconscious criminals from any potential threats. Jiuchuan smirks knowingly, his glowing eyes suggesting her shadowy protectors are no match for what's coming. A massive, glowing purple chain suddenly erupts from the ground, catching both agents completely by surprise. The chain slams into the ground, signaling the arrival of a powerful, uninvited guest. A flamboyant demon with a sinister grin emerges from the smoke, mocking their inability to detect him. Jiuchuan confronts the demon, accusing him of creating the fog and demanding to know the fate of the previous teams. The masked demon mockingly confirms he devoured the previous teams, finding them quite a delicacy. Surrounded by the demon's oppressive aura, both agents brace for the inevitable confrontation. A monstrous face materializes in the fog, its glowing red eyes promising they are the next meal. The entity declares itself a god within its misty domain as Xiana prepares to challenge its claim. Jiuchuan scoffs at the demon's ego, summoning a purple magic circle in response to its arrogance. He unleashes a volley of magical chains, angrily rejecting any comparison to the demon's previous victims. The chains find their mark, ensnaring the surprised misty entity in a glowing purple trap. As the demon is restrained, Xiana prepares her own attack, charging an arrowhead with crackling energy. She realizes with cold fury that the enemy had been tailing her, a mistake born from her own complacency. Channeling her anger, she unleashes a powerful shot, determined to correct her lapse in judgment. Xiana's charged arrow flies towards the misty demon. The demon's form dissipates, avoiding the attack. Xiana and Jiuchuan realize their attack missed. Xiana warns Jiuchuan of the approaching danger. Xiana is struck by an unseen force. The demon mocks their attempts to fight him. Jiuchuan notices the air thinning around them. Chelsea explains demons' adaptability to different environments. The demon taunts them with their vulnerability. Jiuchuan considers his next move as the fight continues. Realizing their current approach is futile, he calls on his demonic partner for a change in strategy. Chelsea answers his summons, manifesting her full demonic form to face the massive misty entity. Annoyed at being commanded, she unleashes a powerful ice attack, determined to claim the victory for herself. The misty demon mockingly dismisses her power, unimpressed by the abilities of her demonic contract. Her icy blast pierces through the fog, but the demon continues to boast of its invincibility within its domain. The demon's confidence shatters as the powerful beam has an unexpected and devastating effect on its misty form. With the fog rapidly dispersing, Jiuchuan reveals the demon's true location, having found him hiding in the chaos. A golden thread of energy slices across the demon's face, a direct and painful hit on its physical body. He follows up with a powerful kick, shattering the mask the demon received from its mysterious master. Enraged, the demon reveals that attacking its body won't stop the fog, vowing to make them pay with their lives. Jiuchuan calmly refutes the demon's threat, a glowing chain held menacingly close to his foe's face. He summons a massive, glowing purple chain from the heavens, preparing to turn the tables. With a firm grip, he channels his power, ready to teach the arrogant demon a lesson about human strength. A confident smirk spreads across his face as he unleashes a storm of chains, warning the demon not to underestimate them. The demon recoils in shock as the chains begin to violently disperse his signature misty domain. He reveals his brilliant strategy, using the rapidly swirling chains to create a vortex that clears the fog. The oppressive mist dissipates completely, revealing the true battlefield for the first time. Xiana gasps in relief, finally able to breathe freely as the demon's suffocating power fades. She watches in awe, realizing the true, terrifying extent of her new partner's capabilities. The defeated demon declares a tactical retreat, vowing to escape and report back to his mysterious master. Jiuchuan's chains drag the demon back, preventing its escape with a brutal yank. The demon's retreat ends in a violent crimson explosion, leaving only a shadow behind. With the threat neutralized, Jiuchuan calmly observes the aftermath while Xiana remains vigilant, determined not to lose her target again. He looks down with amusement, having found the demon's true, far less intimidating form. The once arrogant god is revealed to be a tiny, crying creature, lamenting its humiliating defeat. He dangles the pathetic demon before his partner, offering it up as a power-boosting snack. Ignoring the creature's pleas of weakness, he silences it by forcing a glowing chain into its mouth. Xiana watches the bizarre scene unfold, stunned by the strange dynamic between her new partner and his demon. He casually turns the conversation to her, noting that her own demonic contract has a human form. Before she can respond, she receives an urgent message from their commander, Lu Yao. He internally notes Xiana's humanoid demon, realizing he needs more intel on his new teammates. Their conversation is cut short by an urgent command from Lu Yao to evacuate the city immediately. Before Xiana can respond, she and the prisoners collapse, clutching their heads in sudden agony. Joris glares at them, demanding to know what the exile faction is doing to his people. Jiuchuan calmly explains they are a rescue team, pointing out they would already be dead if they were enemies. A fellow survivor convinces a hesitant Joris that trusting the agents is their only remaining option. Joris reluctantly agrees to cooperate, seeing no other way out of their desperate situation. His agreement is cut short as a massive, shadowy tendril violently erupts from the ground. Jiuchuan pulls Xiana back, warning her to stay away from the new, unknown threat. A monstrous, shadowy creature emerges from the dust, its form crackling with a strange, numerical energy. The stitched-up monster stands over a defeated Joris, its tormented form revealing it needs 2 more sacrifices.